Hey EMbers, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 5 of my Oblivion Remastered playthrough, Elona's Scholarly Adventures. Thank you for bearing with me on the last couple of episodes. This is sort of a slow playthrough, so we're going to be having some slower paced episodes and some fast paced episodes, so hopefully you're okay with that. Anyway, here's episode 5. Previously on Elona's Scholarly Adventures, I explored more of the Imperial City and finally visited the Imperial Palace. It was beautiful, although I couldn't look around too much. When asking for rumours, I heard about a collector named Umbacano, who collects Ayleid artifacts. Remember the statue I found in Vilverin? Turns out there's 10 of them, and Umbacano will buy them all. I'd best keep an eye out for them. I still have more of the Imperial City to explore, but perhaps I shouldn't be walking around with the Amulet of Kings. Maybe I should head to Weynon Priory. So I've decided to make my way to Weynon Priory, but I think it's a little bit late at night, so I'm going to go ahead and get a bed.
Any luck on those bottles of Shadow Banished wine yet? There's a fresh bed available to anyone who's got the 10 gold. Would you like it?
I'll take it.
So be it. Head upstairs and look for the last door on your right. That's your room for tonight. Sleep well.
Thank you. So before I head up to bed, I am going to do a little bit of buying and selling here, so I will get back to you when that is done.
Walk always in the shadow of Sithis.
I mean, thanks, I guess. So with that, let's go ahead and head to bed. Now, it is only 5:38, so I think I'm going to sleep for 12 hours and get up at 5:38 in the morning. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. I think it's time to head out to Weynon Priory. But before we do that, I better get my sword out, and we're going to be doing some frost spells today.
What is it? If you've done good deeds, the Nine will bless you and cure diseases when you visit their way shrines.
Yeah, you. Come
Yes.
here. I got
They
what you
say
need.
that when you murder someone,
Let's go.
the Dark Brother...
Now, I do still have quite a few quests to do here, including killing some fish. But I think for now, let's get on Nag and head up to Coral. We do have a road sign here, and that says Coral is straight on. So let's do that. I think we're going to stick to the path for most of the journey. But I do see some fort ruins to the left of me here. We do have another sign. And it's telling us to go this way. So let's continue on. But that fort is really, really intriguing me. And we have just been told about Shadow Banished wine. So, do I want to take a look? What if there's Shadow Banished wine inside? I mean, look at it. It would be really hard to pass up an opportunity to do some dungeon delving, I guess. And it's telling us to go up this way for Coral. Decisions. You know what? I think I am going to explore it. Why not? There's no rush to get this Amulet of Kings to Weynon Priory, right? It's just a necklace. I hate killing animals. Unfortunately, we are going to have to deal with this wolf, and I think this is the first time that you are seeing my new sword. Nifty, eh? I'm just sorry it had to be used on a wolf. So let's take a little look around. We do have an encampment here, presumably bandits. The fire is still lit, so they can't be too far away. I'm assuming they're camped up in the fort. Look at the shadows here. Incredible. There is a statue of some kind as well at this fort. Who is this? Looks like a man with a sword. I'm unsure. Perhaps some research is needed. But let's now head on in to Fort Nickel. So I'm going to be quite sneaky here because I know that there are bandits in here. I'm fairly confident judging by the tent outside in any event. And I have no idea what I'm going to find in here. So let's be super cautious. And we are being seen by somebody. Oh no! It's a dog! I don't want to kill the dog, but I fear I have no choice. It's rather rabid. I'm sorry, doggy. I really didn't want to do that. Rats? No problem. Dogs? Wolves? I don't want to. But needs must, I suppose. So it looks like we have a number of ways to go here. So let's veer off to the left first. And we have what appears to be a locked gate, but there are 2 people ready and waiting for us. Again, presumably bandits. So let's backtrack and head over to the other side. And hope there's nobody waiting for us here. Oh, there is. Oh, brilliant. So either way, we're going to be getting into a fight. Did the fight with the dog make that much noise? What's in this room? So this seems to just overlook the rest of the fort. So there's no need to be here. Okay, well, we're going to have to make a choice. And I think we're going to head to the right, as there's only 1 bandit at this gate rather than 2. This might be quite a tough fight. But with my snowball spell, I think I'll be fine. So they are, in fact, marauders. Is there a difference between a marauder and a bandit? I'm pretty sure there is. I think a marauder is more of a treasure hunter, whereas a bandit's more of an opportunist, you could say. But we're going to go ahead and take their cuirass to sell later on. Now let's keep going round. And again, we have 2 ways to go. So let's head down, shall we? Now, I have no idea if this is a big fort or a small fort. But as it's all underground, there's no indication of how big this place actually is. Ah! Fire and ice, huh? And again, I am being a little bit overly cautious. But I really don't want to be hit with a fireball. And my aim is still a little bit shaky after my stay in the prison, but we've got him. Unfortunately, it looks like there is somebody else not too far away. I can't quite seem to see them at the moment. But let's head on into the water. And there they are. Let's get them. They're an archer. I do need to do a little bit of archery myself, but I am much better with a sword. Oh! And somebody else here as well. We have a hedge wizard. So we've got rid of those 2. And again, I'm not going to be taking too much, because we do have the long ride to Weynon Priory. I say long, I don't actually know how far away it is, but these were the 2 that were hiding behind the other gate. Got it. So we need to do a tiny bit of backtracking in order to make sure we've seen everything. Just here. And I think, is that the end of the fort? Quite a small fort. If so, we're going to quickly check our map, and I do believe that that is the end of the fort. There were a couple of places we didn't go at the very beginning of the fort, so let's go ahead and do that. We just need to remember how to get out. Here we go. Now, this area was rather dark for me, which is why I am struggling to see certain things. But I imagine it's not as dark for you. So we have a gate with an easy lock here. And I did it in a wanna. And there is a chest. Bit of gold inside, not too bad. But again, I was rather struggling to see. I probably should have put a torch out. Put a torch out? Taken a torch out. Again, we do have a chest in the corner here. With, again, a little bit of gold, but not too much. Unfortunately, no shadow banished wine. So with that, let's go ahead and leave and continue on with our journey. Now, hopefully, Nag has been left alone on the road. We are going to have to go and find them. And there she is. So let's now continue along the path. And I'm sure we'll find many more things to explore. But again, I should probably head straight to Weynon Priory. I can't help it though. I can't help it. I'm a scholar. I need to learn everything that there is to know. And that was my first fort in Cyrodiil. Oh, rude.
What's the matter?
So we have a bandit bowman here. And that takes care of that. Now, unfortunately, I seem to have misplaced their body, and I spend a little bit of time looking for it. But there we go, I've found it. Nothing really for us to take. And I also lost Nag for a moment, but there she is. So let's now continue on. It's a beautiful area, it really is. The trees are just beautiful, as I say. I think I use the term beautiful quite a lot. But there really is no other word to describe this area. And I do love forests and trees. So again, I don't know how far off we are from Weynon Priory, but oh my goodness, we have stumbled across another fort. Well, seeing as the path leads directly through the fort, it would be rude not to explore it, right? We must explore this fort. And a goblin here. Interesting. Does that mean there's goblins in the fort? Sure looks like it. Ugh, I can't stand goblins. So let's take a look around the outside of the fort before we head in. But what's this? Hold on, Nag. Hang in there, I'm coming. Unfortunately, I had to kill another wolf there. Are you okay, Nag? I'm so sorry. I thought you'd have been safe there. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Nag seems okay. So let's continue on with our exploration. And before I head into the fort, I do of course want to take a look around. Obviously lots of places to go. This is where we were before that wolf rudely interrupted us. As you can see, there are sacks with a lot of fresh produce in them, which would lead me to believe that somebody is still residing here at this fort. Now, based on the goblin corpse outside, I'm assuming it is goblins that live here. But look how much fresh food there is, just bundled away in these sacks. I'm not going to take any because, well, I don't know where it came from, even though it's fresh. And hopefully we will be heading to Coral or Weynon Priory very, very soon. And so I may be able to sit and eat there. So this fort is quite high. I think there's 3 levels to it, yes. And I thought that this was another room, but it's actually just a passageway. Not a passageway, it's a way to see down into the previous level. Lots and lots of weapons scattered around outside as well. So let's now continue up onto the final floor. And one can only think about what this fort would have looked like when it was first built, before it turned into a ruin. Again, more fresh food here. Actually, that sack contained gold, but there is more food, as you can see. And a lot of mushrooms. So we're going to give it a giant jump here. I really thought I wasn't going to make that, but there is nothing on this side. So with that, let's head back downstairs and go into the fort properly. So here we are then, and this fort is called Fort Ash. Let's get prepared, and in we go. So again, I am assuming there are goblins here, and I found out that a Vala Stone actually recharges all of your enchanted items, so I am going to go ahead and use one now. Let's take a careful look around. I don't know if this fort will be the same size as the previous fort. We will have to wait and see. Can't see anybody just yet. And again, this fort was quite dark, so I should probably have utilised a torch, but the glow on my sword is enough for now. So again, I'm taking my time, being a little bit slower. And again, we have two ways. So we have this old wooden door. Let's go ahead and open it. And there are indeed goblins here. But they're fairly easy to dispatch. Again, I hate goblins. So again, I'm just taking my time and looking around. I believe I actually missed a chest, unfortunately. I'm praying there was no Shadow Banish wine in it. Hopefully not. I think I unfortunately missed quite a few things in this fort. So again, yet another goblin. But my frost spell is making quick work out of them. Now, hopefully I don't find too much in this fort. I don't normally say that. I do like to find little treasures. But hopefully I don't find too much because I can't carry too much. Now we can see a tripwire here, which the goblins have obviously placed there. And we do not want to get one of those to the face. So luckily I saw that. Now again, moving round. This fort definitely seems a little bit more complicated than the previous one. And what a horrendous noise we have here. I am very sorry for the racket. This seems to be some sort of trap that was set up if you wanted to get what was in this chest. And unfortunately, a treasure hunter has succumbed to it. So again, I do apologise for this awful noise. I do not like it, and I cannot wait to be out of this room. But I suppose we have the treasure hunter to thank, or we may never have seen that trap. Still, it's a shame that they had to die. So now we move through here. Hopefully we can leave that god-awful noise behind us. And that goblin did catch me off guard there. But we've got them. And they actually die leaning against the wall, which is quite fun and sinister at the same time. So let's now continue on. And again, I do think I missed quite a lot in this fort because I couldn't see very well. It's as simple as that. We do have a chest here. Again, we did pass a chest, but unfortunately I simply did not see it at the time. Again, hopefully there's no Shadow Banish wine in the chest that we missed. So let's now continue onward. And again, we're checking for tripwires and traps, because these goblins can be quite tricky. So again, I believe there's two ways to go. We have a rat here. So let's go this way. Nope, I'm changing my mind, I think. I'm having a little think. Let's check the map. So it looks like that way is going to lead to another area. But I think we've explored everything else, so let's continue on. And we are heading... Just checking over here, I don't think there's anything. No. I'm heading into the stockade. It's interesting that goblins would make this fort their home. I thought goblins normally lived in caves, but we did see some goblins in the sewers. So I guess they just like anywhere underground. So we have another goblin here who hasn't seen us. And one that we didn't see. Oh, he really made me jump. But I got him. Now you'll have to bear with me as well. I do use the terms I and we interchangeably. I also say us quite a lot, but of course there is no us, there's only me. So this looks like a little bit of a puzzle in order to open the gate. And the best thing to do when you're not sure is just try a handle and see if it works. So that is exactly what we are going to do. So let's just keep pulling the handles until we can get through. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Let's go for this one. And luckily, that was the correct way to do it. Just a bit of guesswork there. Now again, I definitely think this fort is bigger than the previous fort I explored. But that's okay. It is distracting me from my task of getting to Weynon Priory, but, you know. So again, we made short work of that goblin, and there are 2 ways to go. Let's head down here first. And this is very sad. They have a lot of rats here in a cage. And I'm assuming, based on what I have seen, that these rats are a food source for the goblins. And there was a part of me that wanted to let them out. There was another part of me that thought that I should mercy kill them. But what I've done instead is I've left them there. I know that if I let them out, they would come for me and try and kill me. And killing them seemed a little cruel. So I have decided that I'm going to leave them there, and that could lead to one of 2 things, unfortunately. Either they starve, which wouldn't be very nice. There is another goblin there, so I must be careful. Or they can find their own way out. And even though I don't like rats, I feel like they deserve a chance at survival. So that is why I've decided to leave them. But perhaps I should have killed them. But as you can see, there are so many rats here. Again, all being used as a food source. I didn't know what the right thing to do was. So we do have a bedroll here, but I will not be sleeping here. So with that, I feel like we have reached a dead end, which means we have explored this entire fort. So I will get back to you when we are outside. And just like that, we are back outside, and luckily Nag seems to be okay. She is a bit of an old girl. So I quickly went ahead and repaired everything that I could. Unfortunately, I can't repair my short sword because I can't repair magical items right now, but maybe soon. Hello, Nag. Let's continue on now to Weynon Priory. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long to get there. What's this?
This is a holdup. Hand it over or die.
Excuse me? No, take it from me if you can.
Actually, that's the way this one prefers it.
Don't you dare hit my horse. Don't you dare hit my horse. I wonder how long that highwayman has stood there for. And how many people has he killed? It ends now. This is quite a tough fight. I may need a potion. And I accidentally hit my horse with my own frost spell. That was not intended. Yes, I'm dangerously low on health, so let's go ahead and drink a potion. And continue on with this fight. And with that, we got him. So I am going to take his steel battle axe. And his lockpick. It looks like you weren't a very successful highwayman because you have no gold on you. At least you can't prey on anybody else. Now the journey to Weynon Priory can't be that much further, can it? I feel like I've stuck to the path as best as I can. But I just get so distracted. Oh, what's this? Is this Weynon Priory? I don't think so. Let's take a quick look. So this seems to be a farm of some sort. Interesting. Now I could take some crops, but I don't want to steal from anybody. At least not right now. And this is Odil Farm. Well, I'm not about to go trespassing. I don't have enough time. But maybe we'll come back and inspect it in the future. Ah, this looks more like it. Here we are, Weynon Priory. I've arrived at Weynon Priory, now I must take the amulet to Joffrey. But before we do that, we might as well have a little look around, right? Ah, looks like there's someone to talk to. And some stables. Come on, Nag. You stay here with the other horses. And let us chat to this guy.
I'm the shepherd here. Eranor's the name. And this is Weynon Priory.
What can you tell me about Joffrey?
If he's not sleeping or eating, he'll be fussing with his books, I reckon, over in the Priory house.
Oh, I love a good book. Thank you.
You too.
Look at this. Let's head on in here and see what's in here. I'm not really one for praying, but while we're here, might as well. Just in case I got any diseases from those dirty goblins. Let's now head into the Priory house.
Yes? Can I help you?
I must speak to Joffrey.
He's upstairs. Go ahead.
Maybe I can speak to you first?
What can I do for you?
What more can you tell me about Joffrey?
You'll most likely find him in the library.
And what about the Order of Talos?
Our order works to spread the teachings and worship of the divine Talos. Surely you have heard of us. If not, I invite you to spend some time in our fine library. All are welcome here.
Library, thank you. Can you tell me anything more about the Blades?
The Emperor's elite knights. They dedicate themselves to Talos above and the Septims here on Earth. The loss of the Emperor must be a terrible blow to them.
And anything else about Weynon Priory?
The Priory is a chapter house of the Order of Talos. And with the last Septim Emperor dead and all his heirs... Tiber Septim is the god and patron saint of our order. And now his dynasty has come to an end. It's very painful. I was just here reading the Black Horse Courier about the assassination and looking through A Short Life. Uriel was an old man, a good man and a good emperor. Why would anyone want to kill him? And all his sons?
I know, I read that too. Thank you.
Be seeing you.
Yes, I definitely read that.
Good evening.
Hi.
Welcome, good citizen. I'm Brother Piner, and this is Weynon Priory, a monastery. Can I help you?
Is there anything you can tell me about the Anvil Chapel attack?
Things go from bad to worse nowadays. Priests murdered on the chapel altar. Oh, what next?
And anything about Joffrey?
Oh, yes. He'll be in the Priory house somewhere.
What about the Order of Talos?
We are a monastic order devoted to divine Talos, who was the mortal Tiber Septim, the founder of the Empire.
And any more on this prophet?
He seems to be different than your usual self-proclaimed holy man. Maybe what he says is true. That the attack on the Chapel of Devella is just the beginning of an assault on the church itself.
I'll check it out when I have time. Any more about the blades?
Like members of my order, the Blades are devoted to the divine Talus. We honor them for their dedication and devotion.
Thank you for your time.
Farewell.
I definitely want to sit and eat. But we must continue on and talk to Joffrey first. Beautiful fireplace. I'm very welcome, after going through 2 forts.
Do you need something?
So we have an area here which has many beds. Perhaps I can borrow one for the night. And it looks like this is Joffrey.
I'm Brother Joffrey. What do you want?
I brought you the Amulet of Kings.
This cannot be. No one but the Emperor is permitted to handle the amulet. Let me see it.
Of course.
By the 9! This is the Amulet of Kings. Who are you? How did you get this? What do you know of the Emperor's death?
I was there when the Emperor died, and he told me to tell you this.
As unlikely as your story sounds, I believe you. Only the strange destiny of Uriel Septim could have brought you to me carrying the Amulet of Kings.
Who is the Prince of Destruction?
The Prince of Destruction he referred to is none other than Mehrunes Dagon, one of the lords of the demonic world of Oblivion. The Emperor's words, "Close shut the jaws of Oblivion," certainly suggest that he perceived some threat from Oblivion. But all the scholars agree that the mortal world is protected from the danger of Oblivion by magical barriers.
How can Oblivion threaten us then?
I'm not sure. Only the Emperors truly understand the meaning behind the rituals of coronation. The Amulet of Kings is ancient. Saint Alicia herself received it from the gods. It is a holy relic of great power. When an emperor is crowned, he uses the amulet to light the dragon fires at the Temple of the One in the Imperial City. With the emperor dead and no new heir crowned, the dragon fires in the temple will be dark, for the first time in centuries. It may be that the dragon fires protected us from a threat that only the emperor was aware of.
The Emperor asked me to find his son.
I am one of the few who know of his existence. Many years ago, I served as captain of Uriel's bodyguards, the Blades. One night, Uriel called me into his private chambers. A baby boy lay sleeping in a basket. Uriel told me to deliver him somewhere safe. He never told me anything else about the baby, but I knew it was his son. From time to time, he would ask about the child's progress. Now, it seems that this illegitimate son is the heir to the Septim throne, if he yet lives.
Where can I find Uriel's son?
His name is Martin. He serves Akatosh in the chapel in the city of Kvatch, south of here. You must go to Kvatch and find him at once. If the enemy is aware of his existence, as seems likely, he is in terrible danger. And please, let me know if there's anything you need. My resources here are limited, but I will help in any way I can.
Anything more you can tell me about the Amulet of Kings?
It will be safest here with me. When you return with Martin, we will figure out our next move.
And assistance?
I keep a few things here in my chest to resupply traveling blades. Help yourself to whatever you need.
Thank you. We will take a look in that chest, but I feel like we should probably speak to Joffrey more before we do that.
Be seeing you. Your first priority now should be to find Martin and bring him back here.
Any more assistance?
I don't have much here at hand, but you're welcome to anything you need from my chest in the reading room. Prior Maberel and Brother Piner may also be able to help. You should speak to them about it if you haven't already.
What can you tell me about Boris?
One of the youngest blades ever to serve in the Emperor's personal guard. I am glad to hear that he survived, but I fear he will take the Emperor's death particularly hard.
Yes, I thought so. And the Dragonfires?
The coronation of each new emperor is sealed when he uses the Amulet of Kings to light the dragon fires in the Temple of the One. The dragon fires of Akatosh remain lit until the death of the emperor. His successor then lights them anew upon ascending to the throne. With Emperor Uriel dead and no successor crowned, the Temple of the One will be dark for the first time in centuries.
What about the Elder Council?
The Elder Council rules in the Emperor's absence by ancient tradition. Chancellor Akato heads the Elder Council and is the closest thing the Empire has to a leader right now. But the Blades answer only to the Emperor, of course. We are not an arm of the government.
Good to know. Anything more you can tell me about Martin?
He is a priest in the chapel of Akatosh in Kvatch. He never knew that he was Uriel Septim's son. You need to find him at once and bring him safely back here.
What about Mehrunes Dagon?
The Daedra Prince of Destruction, an inveterate foe of all mortal races. He was involved with Jagar Tharn's plot against the Empire years ago. It doesn't surprise me to find his hand in the current calamity.
And, finally, anything more about the Blades?
Yes, Boris told you right. I am the Grand Master of the Blades. We serve the Emperor and the Septim bloodline. Talos is our patron. You wonder to find me here? Discretion is our watchword. Only a few of us have the honor to serve publicly in the Imperial Guard.
Thank you for your time.
Waste no time. You must find Martin before the enemy does.
I will. Look at all these books. I shouldn't get distracted though. Let's check what's in this chest, and we may need to move some things around. I will get back to you when I'm done. I've decided to swap my fur armor out for leather. It's not the best looking, but it'll do. So what do we do now? We've spoken to Joffrey. We should probably ask for assistance from everybody else. Hi again.
I know that you are on an important mission for the Blades. Please, if you need a horse, take mine from the Priory stables.
That's a generous offer, thank you.
Go with Talos' blessings. Do not fail.
I mean, we do already have our nag, but she is old.
Greetings. What can I do for you?
Can you assist me?
Here, perhaps you will find this useful. One of the books I saved from my Blades training. You go into danger. Joffrey didn't tell us any more than that, but know that our prayers go with you.
Thank you. I'll read that later. Any more on the Order of Talos?
It isn't widely known, but many brothers of the Order of Talos are also members of the Blades. Chapter houses of the Order, like Weynon Priory, provide safe houses for traveling Blades as well as our more public religious functions. Blades who are too old for the active service often join the Order as lay brothers. We are honored to have Grand Master Joffrey, or Brother Joffrey as he prefers, as a resident here.
And finally, any more on the Blades?
The Blades are closely linked to the Order of Talos. We both serve Talos, of course, and many of our brothers are former Blades. I myself was training as a Blade when I received the call to serve Talos in a different way.
Thank you.
Take care. Hail.
Yes? What?
Any more assistance at all?
You are welcome to take my horse. I rarely travel, so I'm sure you will put her to better use than I.
And finally, any more on Weynon Priory?
Weynon Priory is a monastery devoted to the praise and worship of Talos and the Nine Divines. Brother Piner, Father Joffrey, and I are members of the Order of Talos. Erenor, a lay brother, tends after the sheep and our little farm.
Can you tell me more about Brother Piner?
Brother Piner is a fine young monk, zealous and energetic. In time, I hope he may add patience and prudence to his list of virtues.
And Erenor?
I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable telling you.
Oh, let's see about that. So, you were saying about Erenor?
Surprised by Erenor's uncanny way with sheep? Perhaps it would interest you to know that Erenor's sister, Dagail in Leowyn, is an accomplished spellcrafter.
Way with sheep, I beg your pardon.
You too.
I'll leave that one where it is, shall I? In any event, hopefully we can use one of these beds to rest, but for now, I am going to sit over here, have something to eat, and maybe do a little bit of reading. So I have a potato and a radish. I think that's everything that I have to eat right now. But let's go ahead and pick a book, and I think we should read the one that we've just been given, The Warp in the West. Oh my goodness, it's quite long though. Strap in. The Warp in the West, a report compiled by Ulvius Terro, Blades Archivist. Secrets for your eyes only. Let me offer my congratulations to your lordship for your recent appointment as ambassador to the court of Wayrest. Your lordship asked me for a review of existing Blades accounts from 36-417 concerning the Warp in the West, and for a summary of the current state of affairs there. Since your lordship was in Black Marsh, serving in the staff of Admiral Sosorius at the time, you probably know of these events only from imperial proclamations and chapel declarations, which identify this period as the Miracle of Peace. During the Miracle of Peace, according to official accounts, the formerly war-racked Iliac Bay region was transformed overnight from a patchwork of squabbling duchies and petty kingdoms into the peaceful modern counties of Hammerfell, Sentinel, Wayrest, and Orsinium. The Miracle of Peace, also known as the Warp in the West, is celebrated as the product of the miraculous interventions of Stendar, Mara, and Akatosh to transform this troublesome region into peaceful, well-governed imperial counties. The catastrophic destruction of landscape and property and the large loss of life attending upon this miracle is understood to have been tragic and beyond mortal comprehension. Inasmuch as this account confirms and validates the current borders of these counties and identifies the rulers and boundaries of these counties as ordained by the Nine, the Miracle of Peace serves imperial objectives of peaceful consolidation of ancient petty states and sovereigns into manageable imperial jurisdictions. The other remarkable features of these events, mass disappearances, armies mysteriously transported hundreds of miles or completely annihilated, titanic storms, and celestial phenomena, apparent local discontinuities of time fit comfortably into the notion that these events are part of a vast mysterious divine intervention. However, this is only the public account of these events, and as you may suspect, it conflicts with many other accounts. In short, while this explanation suits imperial policy, it has little historical validity. Your lordship should know that the Blades have concluded there is no plausible historical account of these events, and despairs that a plausible historical account shall ever be produced. The Blades have concluded that a miracle occurred, insofar as the events are inexplicable, but the Blades strongly doubt the miracle was of divine origin. There is good reason to believe that the ruling families of the four modern Iliac Bay counties had forewarning of the event. There is also some evidence that some of these ruling families may have been directly or indirectly responsible for the event. We do not know the exact sequence of actions that produced the event, although we are confident that the totem artifact was involved, and that a Blades agent was involved in employing that artifact. We unfortunately lost contact with that agent immediately after the event. His report might have gone some way to resolving the contradictory and paradoxical accounts of the event. The Blades have on file few reports from agents dating from the Warp in the West period. Most of our agents were lost in the initial dislocations, and others were lost in the confusion after the event. I present a few of these reports to give you a general sense of their limitations, including the report of your diplomatic predecessor, Lord Strail. You will have had access to other private and rumoured accounts of this period. I believe you will agree that these documents raise more questions than they answer. The report of Hammerfell agent Briarbird. I was on assignment in the Alakir Desert, a few miles south of Bergama on the 9th of Frostfall. I was encamped as it was still early morning when I felt the ground shake so violently. I was thrown to the ground. Dazed, I was aware of a great roar of a sandstorm, which alarmed me, as I had been on a high dune and had seen nothing like that on the horizon. It was on me before I was even on my knees, burying me in my camp. When I crawled my way out of the sand, I realised that I must make haste and get to Bergama as soon as possible, as all my food and water had been swept away. The sun was just rising as I began, like I said. When I reached Bergama, it was nightfall. The town was in chaos, filled with the soldiers of Sentinel. The Lord of Bergama's fortress was in ruins. There had been an attack, but no one had seen it, only the invasion that followed it. The soldiers of Queen Akarithi of Sentinel refused to be interviewed about how they had accomplished this sneak attack, but I came to learn that the whole of northern Hammerfell now belonged to them. Even stranger, I discovered that my walk from sunrise to sundown had not taken me not one day, but two. It was now the 11th day of the month, not the 10th. I had lost a day somewhere, and so apparently had everyone else, except Akarithi's soldiers, who somehow were aware of the correct date. I since have concluded that they had received advance warning, and so were better prepared to deal with the strange confusion of time and dates associated with the warp. The report of High Rock agent Grey Lady. I was at the time of the warp under cover as a witch in the Skeffington Coven of Faergius in central High Rock in order to give my report. I had volunteered for an expedition to gather supplies which would allow me the freedom to reach my contact in Camlorn. I was travelling northeast along the foothills of the Rothgarian Mountains on the 9th of Frostfall, where I felt a great heat behind me like a fire. I turned, but I regret to say I cannot tell you what I saw. The healers tell me my eyes were burnt out of my sockets. I think I must have fallen into a state of semi-consciousness, for I distinctly remember falling, as the ground seemed to give way beneath me. Then there was a series of explosions in the distance, to the south, and I heard high whistling noises that were getting louder, coming closer. I had my shield with me, and fortunately anticipated that volleys of some sort were falling from the sky. Though I could not see them, I could hear them coming from a distance away, and was able to use my shield to block them from striking me. The assault stopped suddenly, and I could smell smoke. I learnt later that most of the forest of Kalon and Phigius had caught fire in an inferno that started further south in Dania and the Besson Hills. Fortunately, I kept my bearings and moved north, finally reaching a temple in the wilderness where my wounds were healed as well as they could be. It was there I learnt that there had been a three-way clash between Daggerfall, Wayrest and Orsinium, not far from where I had been, and that the land midway between their kingdoms had been decimated. the report of Ambassador Lord Nagan Strail. The Imperial Majesty had sent me on a delicate errand, the details of which I cannot convey in this unsecure report, but my official capacity was to be the Emperor's ambassador to the court of Wayrest. From there I was to meet with an old friend, Lady Brysienna, who was already in the vicinity. Foregoing any attempt at stealth, I was on an Imperial barge sailing westward on the Bullseye the morning of the 9th of Frostfall. I remember it was a slightly chilly day, but the sky was very blue. We had just passed the delightful riverside village of Candlemas when the captain sounded the alarum. There in front of us was a colossal wall of water, at least 30 feet high. It smashed our barge to splinters before any of us had a chance to react. I woke up on the shore having been rescued by one of my servants, who had miraculously not lost consciousness. He and I and one other man were the only survivors. I thought at first that it was suspiciously similar to what happened to another agent of ours in High Rock, but a short time before, where a freak storm had shipwrecked him in the Iliac Bay near Privateer's Hold. Furious and determined to see if similar forces were at work, I began a quick march to Wayrest. The march, however, was not so terribly quick. The villagers all along the Bullseye were on fire, and battles raged between the orcs of Orsinium and the soldiers of King Eadweir in the formerly independent Principality of Golvaden, just east of Wayrest. I'm an accomplished mage and quite able to defend myself, but it took the better part of a week to make it those few miles to Wayrest. King Eadweir and his queen Baranzaya were celebrating their great victories when I arrived. By then I had gathered the barest facts of the matter, that simultaneously there were 7 great battles in the Iliac Bay, and no one could describe them at all, only their blood-soaked aftermath. To summarise, on the 9th of Frostfall there had been 44 independent kingdoms, counties, baronies and dukedoms surrounding the Iliac Bay, if one includes the unconquered territories of the Hrothgarian Mountains, the Dragontail Mountains, the High Rock Seacoast, the Isle of Balfiera and the Alakir Desert. On the 11th of Frostfall there were but 4, Daggerfall, Sentinel, Wayrest and Orsinium, and all the points where they met lay in ruins as the armies continued to do battle. I was determined to find the truth from the king, even if I had to be a most undiplomatic diplomat to do it. Eadweir, though a generally jovial sort, had blustered, saying he did not want to give out military secrets. The Queen, ever calm with those unreadable red eyes of hers, told me, "We do not know." I think it is safe to assume that Baranzaya did not tell me everything, but the facts of her story, which I later verified, after pointed interviews in Daggerfall, Sentinel and Orsinium, was that they had learned that a certain powerful ancient weapon was going to be activated. I shan't give the name of it here, out of fear that it would be used against Wayrest. The king had attempted to buy it from the young adventurer who had discovered its whereabouts. Eadweir believed, as it turns out quite rightly, that other powers in the bay had also attempted to win ownership of this device. What happened then, as Baranzaya said, we do not know. The morning of the 9th and the morning of the 11th somehow merged through some sort of warp in the west, and Wayrest found themselves at war. Their land had expanded threefold, but they were under attack by Daggerfall to the west, Orsinium to the east, and Sentinel to the south. There had been no time to understand what had happened, the king said. They had simply reacted, sending their armies to defend their lands against these enemies whose kingdoms had also gained great territorial advantage. The battles continue on now months later as I return to the Imperial City to make my report. What more do I have to say? There are bloody violent clashes, as is always the case with modern warfare, but I have been to the blackened, desolate no man's land between the 4 remaining kingdoms. No mortal army caused that devastation. I can say that the force that shook the Iliac Bay on the 10th of Frostfall, 36,417, was infinitesimally greater than the power those mighty kingdoms are wielding today. I can say that there were other strange events on that day which kept the kingdoms from breaking free of the Empire, and accomplished likely more besides, and I can say there is nothing left of it. This power, this weapon, in the Bay, the warp that it created swallowed it up. Current political affairs in the Iliac Bay. Almost 20 years have passed, and the region, though transformed, has stabilised. There are no more disputed territories, and the kingdoms of Daggerfall, Wayrest, Sentinel and Orsinium hold their new borders in relative peace. Wayrest spreads across the eastern coast of the bay, stretching from the land formerly called Anticlair to half of Galvaden. Eadweir has passed on to his ancestors, leaving his kingdom in the hands of his daughter, Elisana, who has 2 children by her royal consort and seems likely to hold her father's lands. Your lordship may also choose to communicate directly with King Helsith and Queen Baranzaya in Mournhold. Their primary preoccupations are of course with Morrowind's affairs, but they may still have useful observations upon Wayrest's ruling families and political environment that may aid you in your understanding of the court of Queen Elisana. King Gortwog of Orsinium controls much of the Hrothgarian Mountains, as well as the profitable river coast of the Bullseye. He persists in his demands that Orsinium be recognised as an imperial province separate from High Rock. The Elder Council treats Gortwog as a recognised king and collects taxes directly from Orsinium, but officially Orsinium remains a county of High Rock, though technically it spans both the provinces of High Rock and Hammerfell. Sentinel has gained the most land, sprawling across the entire southern Iliac Bay from Abiangora beyond the Dragontail Mountains to the edge of Mornorth, Orsinium's territory. Queen Akarithi, at her death, left her enormous kingdom to her only surviving son, Lotan, who is now surely one of the most powerful kings in Tamriel. Daggerfall is still ruled by the Breton king, Gothrid, and the Redguard queen, Orbukel. Their land now encompasses all of Western High Rock, from the border they share with Wayrest at Anticlare to the east, to Caelon to the north. They have 4 children now and are much beloved in their realm. If there are other repercussions of the mysterious warp in the west, they have not yet come to our attention in the course of 20 years of observation. Whew, and there you have it. My goodness, that was a long book, but very, very interesting. So I think I would like to sleep. It is 10 to 7, so let's head outside. And I did see a little farmhouse, so I'm hoping we can sleep in there. I suppose I could have slept in the Priory house proper, but it just didn't seem right for some reason. Plus, I wanted to quickly ask Eleanor if he could assist me in any way. Hi.
What?
Can I have any assistance?
Well, I normally stay out of the affairs of the great folk that come through Weynon Priory to see Master Joffrey. But go ahead and take this hammer. You might have use of it, and I have others. Not much call for smith work around here in any case. Well, we both have better things to do than stand here all day exchanging idle gossip. Good day to you now.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So with that, I wanted to check out this little house here, the Weynon Lodge. And in retrospect, I probably should have just stayed in the Priory house, because this seems to be only 1 bed, which will presumably be Eleanor's bed. But I'm so tired. I'm just exhausted, so I am going to go ahead and sleep here. Good morning. So I slept for 12 hours. It is now 10 past 7 in the morning, and I have leveled up. You have ascended to level 3. You realise that you are catching on to the secret of success. It's just a matter of concentration. So it took me a little while to decide what I wanted to do, but ultimately this is what I decided on. So I think this is where I'm going to leave my adventure for now. Thank you very much for watching. In the next adventure, I am going to be heading to Coral and exploring Coral for the first time, which is rather exciting. So until then, bye Embers.